Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so you've sent over some really interesting material about premature ovarian insufficiency, POI,
Hmm.
and specifically how it connects with vaginal health.
Yes, and some notes highlighting areas you wanted to explore.
Right. So the mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. Let's unpack how POI actually impacts vaginal health and, importantly, what proactive steps someone might take.
Exactly. We'll connect those dots and focus on, practical strategies, actionable things.
Perfect. Let's jump right in. Premature ovarian insufficiency, POI. Now, we hear about menopause usually around age 50, give or take. But POI is, well, it's a different beast, isn't it?
It really is. POI is when the ovaries, they stop functioning properly before the age of 40.
Before 40, wow.
Yeah. So you get this big drop in estrogen and other hormones much, much earlier than the typical menopause transition. It's not that gradual slowdown.
So it could be your 30s, 20s,
Hmm.
even teens.
It can, yes.
Yeah.
It's quite different from natural menopause in that sense.
And, okay, most people might know about the common POI symptoms, right? The hot flashes, maybe irregular periods, mood swings, things like
The
that.
classic signs, yeah.
But what really struck me in the info you shared was the focus on something maybe less discussed, the direct hit on vaginal health.
That's such a critical piece and often overlooked. While those broader symptoms are definitely real and impactful, the effect down there is significant.
How so?
While that early drop in estrogen directly messes with the vaginal environment, it can lead to dryness, irritation, inflammation, and unfortunately makes you more susceptible to infections and just general discomfort.
So it's not just a side effect, it's a direct consequence. What's the mechanism? Why does lower estrogen cause these problems?
It really boils down to estrogen's role. Estrogen is like the key hormone for keeping vaginal tissues healthy.
How does it do that?
Think of it as nature's moisturizer and plumper for the vaginal lining. It keeps the tissues thick, elastic, well lubricated.
Okay.
So when estrogen levels plummet with POI, all those supportive qualities start to fade.
Right. So less estrogen, less natural moisture. The material calls it vaginal dryness. Seems simple, but what does that feel like day to day?
Oh, it can really impact your comfort. Itching, general soreness, and often pain during intercourse. The term for that is dyspareunia.
Being during sex.
Yeah. And over time, this dryness can actually make the tissues weaker, more prone to tiny tears, micro tears, which then, opens the door for infections. It's kind of a domino effect.
So it's not just uncomfortable, it actually creates vulnerabilities. The notes also mention tissues becoming thinner and more fragile.
Yeah.
How does that play into it?
Right. So think of the vaginal walls as a protective barrier. Healthy estrogen levels keep that barrier strong.
Okay.
But without enough estrogen, the walls lose some thickness, some substance. They become more delicate.
Making them more susceptible.
Exactly. More susceptible to bacteria, fungi. It just makes it easier for things like bacterial vaginosis, BV, or yeast infections to take hold.
Right, the natural defenses are lowered. Then there's the altered vaginal pH and microbiome. This sounds a bit more science way. What's going on there?
This is super important. A healthy vagina is naturally slightly acidic. The pH is usually between 3.8 and 4.5.
Acidic. Why?
That acidity is a natural defense. It's maintained mostly by good bacteria, especially lactobacillus species. They keep the bad microbes in check.
Okay. The good guys.
Yes. But the hormonal changes in POI can cause that pH to rise, become less acidic, more alkaline.
And that's bad.
It is, because it makes it harder for those protective lactobacillus to thrive. Their numbers can drop, and that creates an environment where infections and inflammation can flourish. It disrupts the whole ecosystem.
Like upsetting the balance.
Uh,
And the sources link these vaginal issues to other problems too, like urinary discomfort.
Definitely a knock-on effect. The dryness, the pH changes, the microbial imbalance,
Mm-hmm.
it can all contribute to more frequent UTIs, urinary tract infections.
Yeah.
And, well, it's pretty clear that if sex is painful or uncomfortable, that's going to impact your sexual health, your confidence, your overall quality of life. It's all connected.
Wow. Okay. That paints a really clear, if concerning, picture. So, given all that, why is it so crucial for someone with POI to really focus on maintaining vaginal health? What are the upsides?
Huge upsides. Firstly, by managing dryness and supporting a balanced microbiome, you directly lower your risk of those recurrent infections, BV, yeast, UTIs.
Fewer infections, less hassle.
Exactly. Fewer infections mean less inflammation, fewer potential long-term issues. It's about prevention.
Makes sense. What else?
Secondly, just improving comfort. Addressing dryness and irritation makes a massive difference to your daily life, not just intimacy. Feeling comfortable physically really boosts your overall quality of life, your emotional well-being.
Absolutely. Feeling good in your own body is fundamental.
And look, even though POI impacts fertility, maintaining a healthy vaginal environment supports overall reproductive wellness in other ways. Healthy tissues are just more resilient. And finally, a stable microbiome and hydrated tissues actually support your local immune function. Better healing if irritation does happen. Your body's natural defenses work better.
So it's really about supporting the body's systems in the face of these changes. Okay, that leads us perfectly to what can actually be done. What are the proactive strategies?
Well, there are several approaches. The info mentions hormonal support HRT, hormone replacement therapy, that can help restore estrogen levels for some.
But
But, and this is a big but, it's not for everyone, it needs a very careful discussion with your doctor. Weighing the pros and cons for your specific health situation is critical.
absolutely crucial. Okay, besides HRT, what else?
Regular GYN checkups are even more important. Early detection of any issues, imbalances, tissue changes is key.
Fetching things early.
Yes. And those appointments are your chance to talk to a professional and get personalized advice.
Good point. What about everyday things? Hygiene.
Gentle hygiene is vital. Use fragrance-free, mild products. Absolutely avoid douching. That really disrupts the natural balance.
Okay, no douching, got it.
And using vaginal moisturizers regularly can help with dryness. Lubricants during intimacy too, obviously. Simple things that make a big difference.
Simple but effective. The sources also touched on lifestyle, diet, stress.
Yeah, the basics matter. Good nutrition supports overall health, which includes hormonal balance indirectly. Staying hydrated helps all mucous membranes, including vaginal ones.
And stress.
Big connection there. Stress impacts hormones and immunity. So, stress management techniques, yoga, meditation, exercise, whatever works for you can genuinely help maintain balance. It's holistic.
A whole body approach. And then the information specifically brought up probiotic support for vaginal health. That sounds like an interesting non-hormonal option.
It is. A targeted vaginal probiotic can be a really effective way to help restore and maintain that crucial microbial balance.
How does that work?
By replenishing those beneficial lactobacillus bacteria we talked about, they help maintain the acidic pH, support tissue health, and kind of crowd out the problematic microbes. It's like sending in reinforcements for your natural defenses.
Reinforcements, I like that. This brings us to Balance Complex, which was mentioned in the materials. How does this specific supplement fit into the picture for POI?
Right. Balance Complex is presented as one example of this kind of targeted support. The idea is that it's formulated to help with that microbial balance, maybe reduce inflammation, support immune function, all key areas when dealing with POI-related vaginal changes.
Okay. The description highlights it as the original vaginal probiotic, mentions being on the market over 10 years, millions of capsules sold.
Yeah, they emphasize its track record, suggesting established use.
And it mentions 100 CFUG billion probiotics, plus cranberry and D-mannose. We hear about cranberry for UTIs a lot.
We do. That combination aims to tackle both vaginal balance and urinary tract health, acknowledging that connection we discussed.
It also flags a lot of positive Amazon reviews, calls itself a maximum strength 17-in-1 strain blend for odor, itching, discharge, and mentions non-GMO, FDA-registered facility, GMP certified, money-back guarantee through Amazon.
Right. Those are all factors aimed at building consumer trust, perceived effectiveness, safety standards, reliability, things people look for in supplements.
Let's dig into the ingredients a bit. The vaginal probiotic blend lists several lactobacillus strains, Acidophilus, Rhamnosus, Reiteri, Plantarum, plus Bacillus coagulans. What do these different strains do?
They each have slightly different strengths. L. acidophilus is great for producing lactic acid, key for that low pHL. Rhamnosus is often linked to immune support and reducing inflammation.
Okay.
L. reiteri helps stabilize the microbiome and potentially tissue healing. L. plantarum has antioxidant properties, good for tissue resilience. And Bacillus coagulans is hardy. It forms spores, which helps it survive and remain stable in the product.
So a multi-pronged bacterial team.
Pretty much, yeah, working together.
Then there's the cranberry and D-mannose blend.
Yeah.
How does that help vaginally if it's often linked to urinary health?
It's mostly about preventing bacteria from sticking. By making it harder for certain bacteria to adhere to the walls of the urinary tract and potentially the vagina, it can reduce the risk of UTIs, which, as we said, can be more common when the vaginal environment is off-kilter.
Makes sense. Less sticking, less chance for infection. Okay, then there's a whole list of other things. Oregano, caprylic acid, protease, cellulase, aloe vera. Wow. Arabinogalactin, aniseed, black walnut, wormwood, reishi mushroom. That's a lot.
It is quite a comprehensive list. Each is included for a specific potential benefit, complementing the probiotics.
Like what? Give us a few examples.
Sure, oregano leaf and caprylic acid have antimicrobial and antifungal properties targeting bad bacteria and yeast. The enzymes, protease and cellulase, might help break down biofilms, which can protect bacteria.
Biofilms, like protective shields for bacteria.
Kind of, yes. Aloe vera is soothing, anti-inflammatory, good for irritation from dryness. Arabinogalactin boosts immune response. Anise, black walnut, wormwood have various antimicrobial or immune support roles. Reishi mushroom is known for anti-inflammatory and immune modulating effects.
So it's not just adding good bacteria, it's also fighting potential problems and soothing irritation.
That seems to be the rationale, yes. Creating a better environment for the good bacteria to thrive and addressing other issues like inflammation and potential pathogens.
Okay, bring it all together then. How does something like Balance Complex with all these ingredients specifically aim to help women dealing with the vaginal health challenges of POI?
Well, based on its components, it aims to tackle POI-related issues on multiple fronts. 1. Restore microbial balance and maintain that acidic pH using the probiotics.
Okay, defense against infection.
2. Reduce inflammation and irritation, particularly from dryness, using ingredients like aloe and reishi.
Soothe the discomfort.
3. Help prevent recurrent infections, BV, yeast, UTIs with the antimicrobial antifungal components and the cranberry D-mannose.
Active prevention.
4. Boost local immune function to help the body defend itself and heal, using things like arabinogalactin and reishi.
Strengthening natural defenses.
And 5. Potentially support tissue repair and resilience, which can be compromised by low estrogen, through promoting a healthy environment overall. It's designed as a multifaceted support system for the specific vulnerabilities caused by POI.
It definitely sounds like it's trying to cover a lot of the bases we've discussed. So the big takeaway here feels like, yes, POI brings challenges, but you're not powerless, especially regarding vaginal health.
Absolutely. Recognizing that link is the first step. Then, being proactive, focusing on the microbiome, reducing inflammation, preventing infections, supporting immunity that can make a huge difference to your comfort and confidence.
And things like probiotic support, maybe like Balance Complex, can fit into that bigger picture, alongside nutrition, stress management, and definitely medical guidance.
Precisely. It's about using all the tools available in a holistic way to manage the effects of POI and improve your quality of life.
This has been incredibly insightful, really drilling down into an aspect of POI that probably deserves more attention. To wrap things up, what's the one key thought you'd want our listener to take away from this deep dive?
I think the main thing is this. POI brings menopause-like symptoms early, yes. But specifically regarding vaginal health, understanding why it's affected the estrogen drop, the pH shift, the microbiome changes, empowers you.
Empowerment through understanding.
Exactly. You don't just have to endure dryness or constant infections. Knowing the mechanisms means you can explore targeted strategies like lifestyle changes, maybe hormonal options with your doctor, or non-hormonal support like probiotics to really improve your comfort and tissue health. You have options. You can take action.
That's a fantastic, really empowering note to end on. And for anyone listening who wants to maybe get a clearer picture of their own vaginal health situation, we wanted to point you towards a resource.
Oh.
You can check out vaginalquiz.com. That's vaginalquiz.com. It's described as a quick, science-backed quiz.
Takes like, what, 2 minutes?
Under 2 minutes, yeah. It gives you a personalized analysis. It's free, private, and the idea is it offers insights into potential imbalances based on your symptoms and lifestyle.
And suggestions, too.
Expert-backed suggestions, yeah. Things like supplements or habit changes that might help. Kind of like a little cheat sheet for understanding your intimate health better.
Sounds like a useful first step for taking that proactive approach we've been talking about.
Exactly. So just remember, understanding your body and taking those proactive steps, big or small, can make a real difference to how you feel physically and emotionally. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive today.